Hello everyone, this is Mr. Brain Junkie here, and today we'll be talking about a science fiction fantasy film called Gamera: The Revenge of Iris. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. Somewhere in the outskirts of Japan, a scientist called Mayumi is going to a small village where the people have encountered something terrifying that ate many of their friends. The scientist is quickly able to identify the creature as a Gauss, an ancient monster that's capable of growing into incredible size. She immediately asks the people where the animal came from, to which all the villagers respond by pointing towards the nearby ocean. 5 years ago in Tokyo, a man is trying to save his daughter by putting her in the car, and he quickly goes back to the building to save his wife as well, who's trying to retrieve their cat Iris from under the bed. A massive creature known as Gamera drops right into the city, shattering all the glass while causing a large explosion. The mother runs out from the room, only to see that the monster is right outside their window, and the creature knocks over the entire building as it kills everyone inside. The girl yells for her parents' name as she sees the monster roaring furiously before waking up from the reoccurring nightmare inside her bed. It turns out that her name is Ayana, and her only family that's alive is her younger brother, who she cares for deeply. She now lives alongside her foster family, who she has a hard time getting along with due to the girl's inability of letting go to her past. What's even worse, she's constantly bullied by her female classmates, who wants her to go into a haunted temple and remove the stone that is supposedly trapping a demon inside. With no other choice, Ayana decides to venture into the cave, and she eventually arrives into a dark tunnel where she sees a stone that resembles a turtle shell. The girl approaches the object and touches the outer surface, causing Ayana to remember her hatred for Gamera as the stone begins to glow, and she feels that something has been lifted. Luckily, one of her classmates, Moribe, arrives to her rescue and disperses the Japanese mean girls immediately. The boy opens the door to find his friend, only to see that Ayana is carrying the massive stone towards the entrance. Moribe immediately stops the girl and tells her that they must return the object to its rightful place, as any movement can cause the release of the evil demon that's inside. Although the girl has a hard time believing the folklore, she decides to do as the boy says out of respect, but they quickly notice something strange that wasn't here before, as a massive egg appears in front of them. At the same time, the people of Tokyo begin seeing something strange in the sky as a large explosion engulfs the city. A massive creature falls from the atmosphere while covered in flames, eventually landing on the city and causing huge explosions in the population center while everyone screams in terror. Very soon, a giant spinning object approaches the people as well, quickly turning into a massive turtle as it lands onto the area and crushing everything that's underneath. After the dust finally settles, the people realize that the monster is actually the infamous Gamera, who screams furiously at the crowd before turning towards the enemy. The giant turtle approaches what appears to be a wounded Gauss, eventually opening its mouth and shooting a barrage of flames at the enemy while creating massive explosions in the city. Very soon, a second Gauss approaches the city while spitting laser at the buildings, eventually landing a massive hit on Gamera's body. However, the kaiju counters right away as it opens its mouth, shooting numerous fireballs at the flying monster while blowing up the entire city and sending everyone into the air. Gamera continues shooting the attacks as the enemy tries desperately to dodge the flames, causing tremendous damage in the process while it flies through the city. The massive kaiju appears in front of a restaurant, causing everyone to cower in fear, but the creature shoots a barrage of flames into the building and finally hitting the flying enemy, causing the monster to blow up into a million pieces as it burns out like fireworks in the sky. The attack is quickly broadcasted into the news as everyone watches in shock, and Ayana is finally able to witness the horrific aftermath of Gamera's attack, making her hatred for the kaiju even deeper. The next day, Ayana decides to visit the mysterious building once more, but upon entering the cave, she's surprised to see that something has crawled out from the egg. The girl notices something on the ground and reaches out for the object, only to see a black stone that begins glowing upon her touch. Before Ayana can figure out what's going on, she hears movements in the shadows, causing her to turn around and witness something that's truly shocking. At night, Moribe decides to visit the temple as well, and notices that the door is apparently open. He investigates further by going inside the cave, and soon finds his friend Ayana alongside a monstrous creature that's full of tentacles. Not sure if he should be turned on or terrified, the boy tries to warn the girl about the danger of the creature, but Ayana obviously has a thing for giant tentacles, even naming the creature Iris after her deceased cat. She tries to give the creature some food and notices that it doesn't have any mouth, but they're quickly shocked to see the monster stab grabbing into the metal can and sucking out everything inside, showing that Iris is clearly very dangerous. At the same time, the Japanese government has decided to wage war against Gamera for destroying Tokyo and killing tens of thousands of people in the city. The citizens are mostly supporting the nation's choice of killing the kaiju, but there are some people who believe that Gamera is their true savior for destroying the Gaos. Meanwhile, Ayana decides to visit the shrine once again, but this time she notices that the place is completely destroyed, as if something has broken out. She rushes into the cave right away and realizes that Iris is missing, causing her to run outside quickly as she shouts for the creature's name. Surprisingly, the girl is able to hear a response and runs quickly towards the sound, eventually managing to find the tentacle monster as she hugs the creature and apologizes for leaving it behind. To her shock, Iris begins levitating into the air as it transforms by releasing even more tentacles in the process and growing much larger as well. Ayana sees the creature's new form and becomes very excited as she opens up her shirt, inviting the monster to grab onto her by using its giant tentacles, eventually consuming her into its body. As the night approaches, Ayana's foster parents quickly become worried by the girl's absence and begins calling all her friends, notifying Moribe in the process. The boy immediately rushes towards the shrine and enters the cave, only to see that Ayana is locked up in a cocoon as her feet is dangling in the air. Moribe runs towards the monster and begins cutting open the barrier, eventually managing to extract his friend as he rips off the tentacles, but Ayana remains unconscious no matter what he does. He quickly brings the girl out from the cave and the paramedics carry her onto the ambulance while the people watch hopelessly as the vehicle drives away towards the city. Thinking that the Gaos are responsible for the attack, the army quickly arrives inside the remote village where the scientist Ayumi decided to come along as well. They make it to Ayana's house but is surprised to see that the place is completely destroyed. The people carefully enter the building and is shocked to see multiple bodies that are entirely dry. The military quickly takes out the victims and the scientist learns that this was not the only location that was attacked, as more than half of the villagers are killed. Ayumi immediately goes towards the temple where Ayana was found and enters the cave, where she examines the biomass that was left behind by Iris and realizes that the attack was not related to any Gaos. As the people exit towards the entrance, they quickly see a boy who turns out to be Moribe, and the woman chases after him right away, hoping to find the truth about what happened. She manages to eventually catch up to the boy and assures him that she only wants to help, allowing Moribe to reveal everything about his friend and the creature. Ayumi comes to the hospital after learning the truth, and she's surprised to see the stone that's on the girl's necklace. The scientist calls one of her close friends Asagi and tells her that they have to meet immediately. It turns out that her friend was previously connected to Gamera through telepathy after obtaining a stone that is very similar to Ayana's. Asagi thinks that this new creature must be very similar as well, which means that Ayana is currently connected with the monster through her mind. This is very dangerous for the young girl and everyone around her, as the monster will try to reunite with her at all costs and destroying everything that's in the way. Meanwhile, a couple is enjoying their camping trip while they head into the forest, trying to have some fun in the bushes. However, the man quickly realizes that something is wrong as he witnesses a tentacle that's much larger than his own. It turns out that Iris has grown dramatically in size as it launches its massive weapon at the girl, piercing into her body and dragging her away. After receiving the damage report from the villagers, the army decides to send even more of their soldiers towards the area, planning to annihilate the creature once and for all. The military arrives at the location where the kaiju is apparently laying dormant and begins firing all their weapons towards the massive creature, causing Iris to respond immediately. The monster raises all the tentacles as it tries to escape from the area, while the soldiers unleash all their fire powers towards the enemy, but doing almost no damage in the process. Iris eventually decides to retaliate as it cuts across the entire field and sending everyone into the air. The soldiers try to retreat immediately, but the kaiju releases all its energy as it causes a massive shockwave that kills everybody. At the same time, Ayumi has arrived inside the hospital and decides to take Ayana away from the city for her safety. They rush towards the airport to take the flight, but everything is shut down due to a large typhoon that's in the area, essentially grounding them inside the city. Their situation becomes even worse as the giant monster is able to fly into the atmosphere and charges directly towards the city. The military sees this and quickly sends two of their fighting jets towards the enemy as they fire at the creature using all their powers. However, Iris manages to dodge the bullets and appears behind the pilots, launching its massive tentacles at the soldiers while they desperately try to escape. The kaiju continues shooting lasers at the fighter jets, but they soon notice something else approaching very quickly, eventually knocking Iris away and revealing itself to be Gamera. The two giant monsters attack each other furiously in the sky while charging through the atmosphere with incredible speed. Gamera launches at the enemy and pushing through the air while turning into a giant spinning blade, but Iris counters by using its tentacles and shooting numerous lasers at the kaiju. Instead of helping their savior, the humans decided to change their target to the giant turtle and plans to strike it with deadly force. While Gamera is chasing after Iris and finally gaining the upper hand, the missiles hit the giant turtle from behind. The bombs cause massive explosions in the air and allowing the enemy to escape, but Gamera is able to recover quickly and chases after Iris immediately, while the giant tentacle monster descends into the city below. The enormous creature appears below the rain clouds and slowly descends into the population center, while all the people scream in fear as they try to run for their lives. Iris recovers from the landing and begins sensing Ayana's presence, while the girl feels the same connection as well, causing her to run away from the people as she tries to get to higher grounds. Iris begins moving towards the girl and causing immense damage in the process while it towers over everything in sight. Ayana finally makes it to the rooftop and sees the kaiju coming her way, but Gamera soon descends from the atmosphere while being propelled by its rockets. The reptile begins charging up fireballs from its mouth and launching them at the enemy, but Iris manages to repel the attack with ease, resulting in utter destruction around the area. Ayana looks into the sky and sees the giant turtle crashing down from above, eventually landing on the city as it smashes into numerous buildings before finally making a stop. The two kaiju stare at each other inside the flames as they prepare for the final battle, just like the calm before the storm. Very soon, Iris begins to attack the giant turtle as it pushes the monster backwards, eventually knocking it into a train station as the kaiju crushes everything below. Ayana stares at the battle with hatred in her eyes and shouts for Iris to kill Gamera, while the massive creature stabs his weapon into the reptile's chest, causing the kaiju to scream in agony. Asagi tries to stop the girl from doing any more damages as her desire for vengeance is killing the entire city, but Ayana only wants to see everything in flames. Iris pulls out its weapon from the reptile, causing the creature to scream in pain before both kaijus crash into the building together as they smash the structures into pieces. Iris manages to gain the upper hand and throws the giant turtle out from the other side, causing Gamera to crash onto the ground. The building begins to crumble down, which knocks the people onto the floor, while Iris begins to sense the presence of the girl as it turns around towards the platform. The massive creature starts walking towards Ayana as their telepathic connections grow stronger, eventually causing the giant monster to glow in brightness as it stares down at the human. At the same time, Moribe has arrived inside the airport as well, and the boy rushes towards his friend and tries to save her from the creature, but the giant monster begins reacting to the interference immediately. This causes the kaiju's chest to open up as Ayana finally realizes that something is wrong, while numerous tentacles launch out and knocks the boy flying into the air. Iris begins opening its body and dragging the girl into its system, eventually consuming her altogether. Ayana begins having visions of her past and seeing the creature destroying her foster family as she realizes that her hatred has directly caused countless people to perish. She begins remembering as she drowns in the creature's body and sees the moment that Gamera has killed her parents, and soon realizes that the kaiju was only trying to save humanity by eliminating its greatest threat. Realizing her mistakes, Ayana begs for all this to stop as she falls deeper into the creature, but suddenly, a bright light appears as Gamera slashes open the kaiju's chest and grabbing onto the girl at the same time. The giant turtle tries desperately to save the human by ripping her out, but Iris counters immediately and stabs Gamera right on its hand, trapping the creature in place as well. The kaijus are forced into a stalemate, but Gamera quickly realizes that Iris is draining its energy through the giant tentacle. This allows the enemy to charge up for a final attack as it begins conjuring tremendous amounts of energy from its limbs. Gamera sees this and has no choice but to spit fire on its own hand, breaking off the arm in the process and finally freeing itself from the enemy as it grabs the girl away from the creature as well. Iris fires the laser beams at the reptile, but the kaiju is able to block the attack and quickly siphons all the flames into its body before launching everything back towards the enemy. The attack was so powerful that it penetrates right through the opponent as Gamera begins releasing all the energy and causing Iris to explode in the process. The entire building is covered in flames as a massive shockwave disperses into the sky. Luckily, Thankfully, the people are able to survive as they hid behind the walls, and they make it out into the massive hole where Gamera is walking towards them while grabbing onto Ayana. The creature gives the girl to the people as they try to revive her, eventually allowing her to regain consciousness as she slowly wakes up. Ayana questions why Gamera would save her despite what she has done, but the kaiju only replies with a soft groan, almost like it was apologizing as well. Moribe makes it out from the building as well and embraces the girl immediately, while she apologizes profusely for her actions. What they don't realize is that the battle is only starting as numerous scouts are flocking towards the city after sensing that Gamera is greatly wounded. However, the kaiju continues walking towards the flames as it prepares to battle once again, not willing to allow humanity to be destroyed. So what do you guys think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.